There is a very specific rule of the game in this universe. Maybe the rule of the game is not the right word, but everything is predetermined. Everything develops according to very strict laws. Is that so or not? There is no improvisation, no spontaneity, no chaos.
When you said the rule of the game, I immediately recalled Einstein. He always said that God does not play dice. That is, there is no game there. There is no chance in the universe. There are no coincidences in the universe. Everything is according to certain objective laws in the universe. The global informational-energetic structure, everything is linked in the structure, everything is strict, everything is harmonious, everything develops in accordance with the laws that are embedded in this structure. Everything is coordinated. There is no chance in the universe. And when our scientists, astronomers, astrophysicists talk about some kind of cataclysms, there are no cataclysms in the universe. The structure of the honeycomb in the universe, discovered by me, it speaks to the fact that this structure was created for this, so that the law of uniform accumulation and distribution of energy in the universe would work. Honeycombs, so that there are no cataclysms, that everything is harmonious, even, distributed, and structured. They provide harmony in the universe. There is no chance, no cataclysms. I always say, there is this core, the governing core in the universe. To people I say this, you should know that this core is. And how to name it, this is up to you. Here a believer says that this is definitely God. But for you as a scientist or as a student, I say that this is the informational, energetic core of the universe. This is the beginning of all beginnings. This is the central programmer of the universe, who programs processes, coordinates their courses, corrects deviation, and so on. That is, everything is governed. The universe has two parts. One, the governing part, and two, governed, enclosed flows, flowing out and rotating. They are enclosed. That is, the universe is finite. At every moment in time, it is finite. It expands infinitely, yes, but at every moment in time, it is finite. Why? Because there are material formations. Like any material formation, any matter is finite, otherwise it would not be matter. So, the universe is a material formation. That is, it is finite.
You came up with this problem in some kind of fringe zone, not purely academically, physically, so to speak.
From the academic point of view, but not physical. If I were a pure physicist, the physical cap of the world view would not have given me this possibility. I clearly understand this. Knowing physics, but knowing computer science even better, after all I'm a computer scientist, I came up with this problem not as a physicist, but as an information scientist. And from the point of view of computer science, I saw a completely different structure of the world. I saw that physicists take as the basis of the world order gravitational interaction. That is, physics studies forces, force interactions, and tries to explain the whole world from the point of view of force interactions, gravitational interaction, electromagnetic interaction, strong and weak interactions. Here are four interactions that physics stands on today. The unified field theory they were trying to build, but did not build. Why? Because all of the above are effects. Physicists did not come to the cause, to the basis. I told students today at a lecture that we know water, but we know it in three forms: water, steam, and ice. But all this is water. These are manifestations of the properties of water. In the same way, this ether, space, energetic informational substance is manifested in the physical world in the form of four known to us today, and how much is yet unknown we do not know. In the form of four properties. That is, these are properties, these are effects. Gravitational, electromagnetic, strong and weak, these are the properties of this vortex primordial substance of space. And we took them as the basic foundations.
So physicists deal with the result.
Physicists work with the result. By examining the result, they investigate the effects. What is the result? This is an effect. Physicists investigate the effect and get the effect, sometimes the effect squared, and they say that this is the truth. And this truth leads further astray. The truth is in the information of the universe, in its holographic principles, in the program that is formed by the core of the universe.
You know, is it possible? I understand that in words it is quite difficult, but you manage. Here is your scheme of the universe, your construction of creation.
So you are asking, what is it?
Yes.
Well, in words, it is really difficult. For this I have a number of drawings, diagrams, but I will try in words. Strategically, the universe consists of two parts: the core of the universe, the informational-energetic governing core, and enclosed informational-energetic flows. Enclosed systems of flows. Why are they enclosed? Because it could not be otherwise. The universe is a material formation, which means it is finite. Today, science has determined that all material formations in the universe rotates. Everything rotates. Planets, suns, galaxies, everything rotates. Why does it rotate? Modern science does not know. It records the fact of rotation, but for what? No one knows. Modern science has determined that a trail of subtle matter is ejected from the center of galaxies for trillions of kilometers. For what it is ejected, modern science does not know, but records the fact that it is ejected. And my model shows all this, for what and how. It turns out that the galaxy rotates in order, and it rotates and is screwed into world space all the time. For what? It is expanding all the time. Why is the universe rotating? Because galaxies are moving away from the center of the universe all the time. They are screwed into world space. They take this free energy of the ether, they wind the ether, and the galactic core is an energetic torus. And this energetic torus, rotating with great speed, is the black hole. The black hole was discovered, but what it is, no one knows. The model showed me that this is precisely the formation into which all the ether rushes, is directed to the next galactic layer. The next galactic layer strengthens it, clamps it into larger spiral frames, and sends it to the next layer. The transport energetic system in the universe has been realized. Energy from the world space is fed by a galactic riser to the center of the universe, where this radiation is converted into matter, into material cores. And these material cores, along a spiral of other parameters, go to the universe for creation. Already matter is coming. There is a flow of energy inside the universe, a flow of matter outwards, two counter currents, and this is the life of the universe. This is how it is in a nutshell.
You talk about how you watch the water, the movement of the wave. It was, so to speak, some kind of initial impetus for you, although not related to your main speciality, work. But honestly, I try to do the same as you, to look at the Ob wave. We have the Ob River here. I didn't see anything like that. Maybe it's not given to me, or I didn't look as was due. But you did. And for you, in fact, it was some basic message for you.
Quite right. You did not see, not because you were not given to see it, but because the conditions in which you observed did not give you, so to speak, an opportunity. After all, I could only see this trace on the water from a certain distance and at a certain angle. When you change the angle of view, you don't see it. When you change the distance to this trace, you don't see it either. That is, certain conditions were needed. Moreover, other people, after all too, when I demonstrated, they also saw. I worked in defense factories and found confirmation in one of these secret magazines that American pilots use this property to search for submarines. A submarine, even if it passed 4 days ago here at a certain depth, at whatever depth it passes, from a certain flight altitude, at a certain angle, a trace is found. And they find the submarine wherever it is, following the trace, the informational trace. There is nothing on the surface, waves are on the surface, but an informational trace remains, a hologram.
Well, you saw this trace. Further, how do your thoughts move? In which direction? You say that it took more than 1 year, more precisely 25 years, in order to comprehend this. Well, okay, you saw the trace. From this trace on the water, you come to some very global generalizations, right?
Right. Through research of tens of years, I conducted experiments with water, already experiments in vessels, no longer on a reservoir. Everything was clear to me there. The reservoir gave me one thing, that water keeps the global secret of the universe.
Is it precisely water?
It is water. We do not know the secret. Our science does not own it. But this trace made me understand that water keeps the global secret about the world order. Therefore, realizing this, I examined water. My further research in vessels made me understand that water is a storage of information. That is, it is the informational basis of biological life in the universe. Not on Earth, but of biological life in the universe. The informational basis, H2O, water. In these studies, I came to the conclusion that there are two waters in the universe. There is one more water, lithium-2O, Li2O, the informational basis of interstellar processes. There are two informational bases in the universe, the informational basis of biological life and the informational basis, so to speak, of other life forms, energy forms, such as stars, suns, planets, and so on. And when I read in the Bible that God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, that is, there are two waters. Well, naturally, 20 years ago, I thought that it was atmospheric water in the clouds, underground water, groundwater. Now, God has separated two waters. God separated two informational bases on which the entire universe is built, Li2O and H2O. Well, and so on. If we speak about the Bible, then I proved that the Bible is a set of universal laws. Everything that is in my model is in the Bible. Only there it is all encoded, veiled. It is said there in order to say, but not to explain. When a person grows up in his consciousness, in his nervous spiritual level, to such a degree that he begins to correspond to this knowledge, then this knowledge comes. That is, a different principle, it turns out, is that the search for truth is needed. We dig for the truth, we work, we create in the sweat of our brow, seek and do not find. Why? Because I, as a researcher, nervously spiritually, do not correspond to that truth. I will never find it. It turns out that I needed to grow internally enough to reach the vibrational level of this truth. And it comes because it is sewn into me, because my informational energetic channels gain access to the information that is in the informational layer of the earth. And I get from there all that is needed. If I am a seeking scientist, then I work in such a plan. That is, I move myself towards this truth. I move my being towards this truth, and not vice versa. And we, materialistic scientists, we do the opposite. We waste global resources, global time, forces, energy, and everything is in vain, because I myself do not correspond to this truth. That is why I say that if I read one verse in the Bible 20 years ago, it gave me one information. After 10 years, the same verse gave me completely different information. After 25 years, the same verse gave me radically different information. Why? Because I moved towards this truth myself, internally. If this inner work did not exist, I simply would not have gotten it. This is the fundamental difference between my approach to science and the modern approach of traditional scientists.
Viktor Dmitrievich, I'm looking at you now, thinking, I would have met you somewhere on the street in Moscow in a crowd, and I would have walked right by, would not have guessed who you were.
And you would have done the right thing.
That such a knowledgeable person would pass me by. You know, I want to understand what drives you. There must be some kind of internal impetus. Well, let's say with you, different people studied, maybe they also studied well, and had quite determined knowledge.
Moreover, some studied better than me.
Well, maybe it was this powerful informational force that chose you, although you rightly said that you yourself went to it, not it to you. You didn't sit and didn't wait. The internal impulse is very important. You know, especially now, when everything is given to people in the form of chewing gum. Here you have everything you want, any information.
especially television.
Yes, absolutely. And you don't have to think about anything. But there is another breed of people. Maybe the word breed is not very accurate, of course. Well, a different type of people. But how did you manage it? You were able to get an excellent education, excellent production career opportunities, the largest industrial association. While putting aside the Bible and such higher matters, what pushed you? What are the impulses? Genes, genetics, origins?
No, I was born with this. I was born with this. This suggests that we have a different task in the universe. We came to Earth with a different mission. Each of us. He came with his task, I came with mine, you with yours. And the human task is to complete this task, solve it, work on it, do not deviate. The whole problem in a person is that he deviates from the fulfillment of his mission. As soon as a person begins to deviate from his predestination on Earth, problems begin. If he corrects the situation, the problems stop. Then you have understood and begin to fulfill your mission. As soon as there are a bunch of problems, it means you have turned 180 degrees from the mission. Therefore you have a lot of problems. Therefore they hit you on the head and the legs and on all parts of the body. You have gone in the wrong direction.
Good, great. This is where I'll ask you. It seems to be a common idea that each of us appears in this world for a reason, that there is some kind of super objective, which perhaps lies completely outside of us. Here you are talking about predestination. What is, after all, the predestination of man?
Well, this is not a question for me. This is a question for that central programmer, who laid the program into everyone.
Well, but you still touch this program a little.
I can only say my opinion. I do not possess the law which can clearly say with which program a person came.
Okay, good. Not the opinion of this core, but yours.
My opinion is that indeed a person comes with a concrete program. He was created from the very beginning and came in order to... Here we are always looking for the meaning of life. The whole philosophy of the 18th, 19th centuries of the Russian intelligentsia was all subordinated to this search for the meaning of life. Why so persistently did a man, a philosopher, search for the meaning of life? Because he saw no meaning in one life. There was no meaning in one person's life. He did not find it. And my model shows that the meaning of a person's life is in his life stream, in the ladder of life, in those quantities of life that he must go through in order to come from a given Nravya spiritual level to the due Nravya spiritual level. It is impossible to do this in one life. Moreover, it is surprising to me because this law is the law of feedback. We use it in technology. From the theory of automatic regulation to cybernetics, the law of feedback is used everywhere, working through the non-coincidences, returning to the beginning. That is, the analog signal cannot immediately acquire the shape that is due. The non-coincidence is being worked through. We are using this. How can we want from a person to launch initially, and at the output there is what is needed? No. The law of feedback. A person will walk so much in the universe until from a spiritual aborigine, there turns out a God co-worker, a co-laborer of the Creator, of this informational energetic core. I built a harmonious picture of the world which shows the cause-effect relationship in everything, from the core of the universe to the nucleus of the cell in my body. There is a causal relationship in everything. It is shown. I have built the most streamlined system that shows how the world works. 108 anomalous phenomena today for modern science. Science cannot explain these phenomena, calls them anomalous. My model explains all 108 phenomena. So there are no anomalies in the universe. There are anomalies in our head. There is no chaos in the universe. There is chaos only in one place, in our head. And we are trying to bring this chaos into the universe on account of our ignorance, on account of our afflicted by materialism consciousness.
Viktor Dmitrievich. Well, what about a regular, ordinary person, who, roughly speaking, is no bright genius, lives an ordinary, regular life? But what is it to him? There was a big explosion or not? What was before the Big Bang? It doesn't matter. In general, what does everything that you say, everything that you have come to, mean for our existence? For you, this is already an axiom.
Not an axiom, but a proven constructed model.
So what? And humanity is going its own way. Although you seem to have shown it, so to speak. You see what really is, what we should be. But the bulk of people do not care.
Well, that's how it should be.
Is this how it should be?
It should be so. The main bulk of the people should not give a damn, and rightly so. But there is another mass, smaller. I discovered one of the basic universal laws, the law of a critical number. And American scientists called it the law of the 100th monkey. When the 100th monkey perceives some information, an information field is formed over the entire herd of monkeys, which transmits information to all monkeys. And the monkeys begin to act as if they were taught. That is, in fact, one monkey was trained, it passed on to the second, to the third. While 3 monkeys knew, the herd knew nothing. But as soon as 98, 100 monkeys became aware, the effect of the 100th monkey, the critical mass, the whole herd of monkeys received this information and begins to live according to this information. Critical number. It is not necessary for everyone to understand what I'm talking about. It is necessary that a critical number of people on Earth understand the structure of the world, and then that information sphere will be built over the Earth, which will work automatically, autosynchronization. Therefore, I do not strive to be understood by everyone. Each person, according to their energetic abilities, is a star. He is as powerful an energy machine as a star in the universe. Every person. There are 6 billion such stars on the Earth, and the energetics of humanity on Earth affects not only the planet, it affects the entire solar system. Our experiments have shown that a person's positive thought forms positive energetic structures of interaction with the entire vortex space, because thought is a vortex structure. If it is positive, it creates positive space. If it is negative, it creates negative space, negative energetics. 95% of humanity works in left-rotating, laboratory structures, forms negative energy. 6 billion stars form negative energy on Earth. The evolutionary spiral of the Earth's development first stopped, then it began to twist into nothing. We are now in the middle between the start of the curl and the point of the curl. Where the end point of the spiral is the flood. This is Atlantis. This is Lemuria. We are in the middle. Now we will either stop, realizing this, or... Why do I go and give these lectures? Why do I, a scientist, a financially secure person, why do I need this? I travel so that people would know that they are not creatures descended from a monkey, but creatures created by the universe, that they are micro-universes. They must know all the laws of the universe. They must live according to them. And today, humanity has created its own laws, perverted laws, that contradict the laws of the universe. And it lives according to artificial laws, creating around itself an illusory world, and this illusory world falls apart.
But we have a chance.
But we have a chance, because since there is knowledge that is given through me, through our scientists, I'm not alone. We are already a group in which they say the same thing. We are from different specialities, but we say one and the same thing. For what? In order for a person to realize that he is delusional, that he is mentally standing on his head, that he needs to stand on his feet, see everything in reality, and make the spiral stop. Everyone needs to do this. That is, the end of the world may not be. Everything depends on us.